Can you guys hear me? We haven't tried to do one of these in since Christmas. So I'm looking on my home computer, and then this camera's looking at me, so I don't have to have my face buried right in it. Okay, good deal. Good deal. What's everybody up to? Let's see. JP, hey John, glad to see me home safe. Yeah, I got home yesterday, and I got to leave in the morning, and they've got some furniture that has to be down in Texas on Wednesday morning, so I'm not going to be home very long. But I thought we haven't got to do one of these in a long time, so. We got Flying Patty. He's down in California, waiting for it to stop raining so I can take a shower. It's still raining in California. Yeah, Jim Williams. That sounds good. That's what I just got the cows fed, and it's supposed to get down to I think 29 degrees here tonight. So I got the stove going, and thought I'd do a little live stream. There's my mom on there. Let's see how many people we have. 21. Wow, that's cool. Yeah. Are you still running the same routes, Laredo to Pennsylvania? No, that you must be thinking of Henry Albert. That's what he runs, Laredo to North Carolina. I go down to Laredo a lot, but I come back to Indiana. That's where I live. How are the cattle doing? They're doing really good. That's what I'm kind of thinking whether I want. I've got some wean calves that I don't know whether I'm going to sell my heifers or keep them. I think I'm going to keep them. Cattle's higher than they've ever been right now. No, it's okay. No, I don't go. I don't go west of Columbus, Ohio usually. Or I'm sorry, west. I don't go east of Columbus, Ohio. I went out to oh Philadelphia and Delaware and New Jersey and a year or two ago. I just don't like it out there, so I mainly go to Texas a lot. I kind of like the West. But no, yeah, cattle's good. Cattle's really good. That's what I've got my bull. I think I'm going to sell and get a new one. Get a new one this spring. And yeah. Let's see the trophy behind me. Well, there's two of them. This one's kind of a joke trophy. It says JP Transport Owner Operator of the Year, and I think that's what my dad got that for me I'd say probably 10 years ago. I'd say it was probably 2015 he got that for me. So that one's just kind of a joke trophy. I just put it up here. And then this one was the trophy I got for the 77 Oliver, Orleans Dogwood Festival Parade tractor, first place. That old Oliver tractor got first place, so that's a real trophy. The other ones he just, I don't know, he was just a jokester, you know. He made it at a trophy store, or had it made. Yeah, so yeah, Flying Patty on there. I think he's going to lease on to us in the springtime. He's going to get his own trailer, and he's moving back to New York. His real name's Kevin. He lives in Phoenix, and that's what I stayed over at his place one night. What was that, a month ago? Probably, when I went out to California, I stopped in Phoenix and stayed at his place. That was nice. So we're going to have another driver come springtime, I think. Says, are you considering allowing an owner operator to work with you? And yes, that's what I'm talking about. The Flying Patty on there, Kevin, it's his real name. That's what he's gonna lease on with us in the springtime. So yeah, that he's gonna be our first driver, our first leased on guy. So it's gonna be a big difference for me, not being the only person. I think it'll be fun. It'll be interesting to see how it works out. Move this. There we go. I feel like you were like my pink shirt I got on. Yeah. I've got this thing on a gimbal, so that's what I can move it. He says, I'll have to come with subtitles for your customers. He's an Irish guy. That's what he and his wife both immigrated to the United States about, 30 years ago? So he's an interesting guy. He's kind of, I can understand him, but that's what, you like the pink shirt? He talks, I think Irish people talk fast, and we're going to do a video together, though. I think he's going to stop by here and stay with us, and we're going to do an overhead on his truck. And yeah, you said 32 years ago he moved here, so we're going to do an overhead on his truck and do some videos. I've actually got a pretty cool video coming up. Hopefully the guy that I first drove for, the first trucking job I had, I've been working on him for a while to do an interview with me, because he's still got the same old trucks that I drove 24 years ago. And so I think we're going to do, hopefully over Thanksgiving. I wanted to do it today, but he didn't have time. So hopefully over Thanksgiving, we're going to do an interview together. And some of the first trucks I ever drove, they're old 359 Peterbilts from the 80s. He's got the first Freightliner I ever drove, so I think that's cool. So hopefully we get some good content coming up. But other than that, I've just been not working super hard, but I mean it's not bad out here. You can make a living out here right now for sure. But when I went to California, I was gone for 2 weeks, and I came home. I was only home for like 3 or 4 days, and I went out and did another week, and then I took a week off. Hey, Roger's on here. Roger, man, I've been waiting to hear from you, man. Are you still working at Are you still working at Matheson? I didn't know if you'd retired yet or not. You still are? How's things going there? You working at nighttime still? Roger's the RC flyer Lentz. He's the guy that I worked with. Tell me what's going on there. You're still working at night? Yeah, it was okay working at night, but kind of your days get screwed up working at night though. Is Bruce still working there? How old are you now? Oldest driver there. Did Rex retire? Oh, well, are you older than Rex? I thought he was the oldest driver. Oh, okay. What's the best way to get a hold of you? I'd like to chit chat about seeing if we can work something out. Just 68 years old. So I haven't seen you in, how long has that been? 7 or 8 years, I guess. Yeah, 7 or 8 years. Yeah, I know. I was in Washington. I stayed up at the. If you go south, if you go over there to Petersburg, they're building a new solar field. I brought a load of solar panels from Dallas to Petersburg, and I went up to Washington and parked there in the parking lot and got something at Burger King before I came home. So I actually thought about swinging in there, but I had no idea. I didn't know if the gate code was the same or. Yeah, I thought about swinging by there, but I didn't know who. I didn't even know if you still worked there or not. Well, tell Rex I said hi. The best way to get a hold of me is my email. It's jptransport, the number 3 at gmail.com. You can get a hold of me there. And we can talk or do whatever. But I'm not going to bring anybody on. We're going to see. I think Kevin's going to work out really good. So we're going to try and see how that works out, and then I might bring another one on. But definitely, Kevin's a really, really good driver, and we were talking about, I really don't even care if I grow. I'm happy with what I got, just having the one truck. But, we were talking, I would if I do start growing, how do you do that? How do you, build the culture of I'd like to get back to being a professional truck driver and just I don't want just anybody working, because still, even though it's your truck or whatever, it's still my numbers on the side of it. So, and I've got my insurance is cheap, and I don't want all that my safety record ruined. So yeah, if you're a good driver, we'll definitely. Um, I'd be happy to talk to you and down the road, maybe after we'll see how Kevin works out and see if he likes it and go from there. But I just want to grow slow. Yeah, it's a lot of responsibility, and then when you get guys that are working for you, then you know my monitor just went off. Sorry about that. And then you got to think about, well, you got other guys working for you that have mouths to feed, so you kind of got to think about them too. So yeah, it's a lot more to take on. It's actually it scares me more bringing people on than starting this whole thing by myself. That'd be a good thing for you, Roger. That'd be a good retirement job for you. You'd come and drive. you could buy a truck or I still got my old truck. You could drive that one. I still got my old Freightliner. That'd be a good retirement job for you. Yes. Do you still have my phone number? Somebody wants to rent that one? Yeah. Yeah, I had a friend that was. Sorry. I got a dog barking outside. Yeah, I had a friend that was saying I need to rent my semis out, but. Okay, let's hold on just a second. I'll see if I got your email. Okay. Yep, I got your email. I just wanted to. Do you ever take your dog with you on road trips? No. No, I don't like having a dog with me. I just don't like the hair and all that stuff in it. So no, I've never. Our old Cocker Spaniel that we had a long time ago, probably, gosh, that's with the first truck I had. I took him with me. We had a Cocker Spaniel in Conway. I took with me up to Wisconsin and Minnesota, and it rained the whole time, and I had to dry his feet off the whole time. What? Here comes my beautiful bride.
We were just gonna take Annie.
You're not in the camera.
How do I get in there?
Oh, there you are.
We were just gonna take Annie if I went with you tomorrow.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, normally I never take Gracie. One time, Gracie's our or not blue heeler, mountain cur. Gracie's our mountain cur, and yeah, I took a chicken one time, and I was taking a load to French Lick, and and she started chasing me, so I let her in. But that's the only time I've ever let her. I just don't want all the dog hair and everything. Jim Williams just said hi, Pam.
Hey, Jim.
Yeah, yeah, I took my rooster with me one time. Sharon said hi, Pam, love you.
Hey, Sharon. Love you.
Let's see.
We're gonna be taking Annie more.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got text. I've got the same phone number I used to, so yeah, just text me. We should talk sometime. That's what I'm so glad you got on here because I wondered if you were still working or not.
Do you want to make leftovers? Do you want some food?
Well, if you want to. Not too hungry. No, whatever you want to do. So, Roger, tell me what's going on there at Maths and who's working there, what's going on, how's everything going? I'm interested to know how things are going there again. You go to the same places? Yeah, I don't see many of them. When I was coming home yesterday, I was going up 69 and saw one going south. But that's what I have no idea who works there anymore. And I'm sure the trucks don't have CBs in them, so mostly Louisville, Huntingburg, Washington. Yeah, yeah. That's You guys still go to Sabic? Yeah. So what are you doing now? Are you getting ready to go to work, or are you off on Sundays? Oh, you've got more cameras? Oh, that's good. So you're home now? Cool. I talked to Mike Dunn some. I thought maybe he might be on here, but yeah, I talked. Mike's probably the only one I talked to. Bullock's not working there anymore, is he? That's what my dad told me. And Steve's probably in his 60s though, isn't he? Oh, that's cool. So Kevin said just a little tidbit of information: no CVs allowed in hazardous tankers in Europe. Rear of engine on cab must be completely covered in. Hmm. Is that because of electrical type things, or I wonder why that is? See, Kevin will be a really good one to do a video with because all the stuff we're really here in the United States, we're just catching up with everything that's going over in Europe. And it's because their fuel's so much higher, and they've had to do all these different things with lift axles and fuel mileage, and yeah, that's what I figured. Static and sparks from engines. So we just, the need's not big enough yet. So we'll basically probably be the only difference between us and them is our streets aren't near as narrow. He sent me a video about how narrow the streets are that the semis are going down. It's crazy. I mean, you basically can't even pass each other because there's so many cars parked on the sides of the road. But all the aerodynamic things and lift axles and just all the crazy things they do over there, we'll probably do in one day whenever fuel gets high enough. Got 10 people on here. I didn't know how many people we'd have because I don't think I've had a live stream since. I think the last one we had a Christmas tree in the background. So it's been a while. There's something pretty cool Gib got for me for my. I think he got that for me for my birthday or Christmas. I can't remember, but I haven't picked out where I'm going to hang it up yet. So I just got it back here in my little office. Yeah, I'm still hauling furniture. Yeah, I enjoy it. Did you see? Yeah, I don't know where he got that at. It says another Oliver farm or another farm Oliver finest in farm machinery. I think I'm going to buy another Oliver before the parade, so we're going to have 3 in the parade this year. I found a really nice, really nice 88 Oliver. I've got a 77. We got the 1600, and there's the 66, a 77, the 88. So I have a 77, the 88, and I need to find a 66. Actually, there's a 66 where I know it is. My uncle's got the same 66 that my dad and I rode in the parade back when I was a kid, and he totally restored it. So we went to a tractor show here in Orleans back in the spring or the summer, I can't remember, and that tractor was there, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I'd like to get another Oliver. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you should. He said, Kevin said you should put a notification up on the tribe site when you do one and get some crew on that. Have you ever driven through some tight roads through the Rocky Mountains? No. I tell you what I used to do if I had to go to, say, if I unloaded in Denver and I had to go to Salt Lake City and I didn't want to go across 80 because the wind was so bad, I would cut across 70 and go up Highway 6. And there was a video I put out where I went over a mountain pass, and it was minus 22, I think, minus 22 up the top of that. But no, not any little ones, just Highway 6 and across 70. I don't really like to go out there anymore. But yeah, no, I'm still hauling furniture. Nothing's really changed. I still got the 2 trucks and 2 trailers and just doing my thing. So I just don't, work as hard as what I used to. I do like 110, 112,000 a year, and now I do about 85. So basically I take off about 3 months longer than I used to. But yeah, the furniture's been really good because it's 4 miles from my house here. So right now I'm at home. I've got a loaded trailer. I've got a loaded trailer out in the driveway that I've got to take up to Indianapolis in the morning, and then I've got to. Hopefully that goes quick. I've got to unload it, come back home, drop that trailer, and then I've got my other trailers loaded at the furniture plant, and I got to hook on that one. I got to be in San Antonio Wednesday morning, so I didn't get to be home very much. Pamela's going to go with me, but she's having problems with her ears, and she's got to go to an ear, nose, and throat specialist. So I was going to have a dog with me. We're going to take her little Cocker Spaniel with us, but no, normally I don't like to have a dog. Yeah, it's nice. It really is a nice fit because I live in a town of 2,000 people, and my freight's 4 miles from my house. So yeah, it works out really good. I'm very lucky to have what I've got. Did you see that? Article on the Overdrive magazine, Roger? Yeah, 2,000 friendly folks. Yeah, check it out. I applied for. They've got Overdrive magazine's got a driver of the year, and so I thought about doing it. I kind of looked at a guy doing that, and so I put my name in the hat basically. So I was October's driver of the year, or I was October driver of the month, and then so I was the last driver out of 10, and they pick from those 10 who's going to be the driver of the year. So that'd be really cool if I get that. So go to if you want to read that article, it's Overdrive, and then you go to like driver of the year, and you can pull that up. But they did a really cool article. Todd Dills, if you ever heard of him, we did like an interview here at home. And what does the furniture company use? Oh yeah, does the furniture company use several drivers? Yeah, they use a lot of them. There's all the big companies. There's like Landstar and things like that, and then the loads I get from I get are from a small company here locally in Campbellsburg, and so that's where I broker them out of. What do you mean? He said if I could convince my wife, it would be 2003. I'm not following. Well, what I was going to tell you, Roger, is the funny thing about that Overdrive article is I didn't even know it had came out. It was I was talking to Mike Dunn on the phone, and he had said something about because he was actually thinking about buying another truck, and I was trying to convince him to get a Freightliner, and we had been talking for probably a month, back and forth and back and forth, and then he called me one morning and said, "Yeah, I was talking to a guy about your fuel mileage and stuff like that," and he said, "Yeah, I think I read an article about that guy," and I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, he said he read some article about you," and I looked up Overdrive magazine, and they'd put that article out, and they never even told me it was out, so it had been out like 3 days before I even knew it was posted. Yeah, yeah. I started out with a step deck, and that was a funny. I actually told that story on there. I bought that step deck off. I was going west on Interstate 64, and a really old Peterbilt with a nice step deck passed me. We started talking on the radio, and I was just going to ask him questions about it because that's what I was going to buy. And he said, "Yeah, this one's actually for sale." We pulled in the Dale Rest area going westbound, and I looked at it, and I ended up buying that step deck from him. So I'm probably one of the only people that's bought a semi trailer off of CB radio, but he's a nice guy. I've lost his number. His in the Kenworth I actually bought from that same guy. Are you guys still on here? My phone went dead. I forgot I was going to plug it. I went and got my phone charger, and when I started this, I completely forgot about it. My phone went dead. So you still guys, let's see, there's 4 people on here, it says. I'm not sure who's still on here. Well, that's cool. You get to resume it if it's working. Okay. Yeah, I looked over, my phone was said whatever, and yeah, my phone went dead on me. I think Sharon asked you something. Oh, did you see what Sharon? That's Pam's aunt. She said Flying Patty, Indiana is a pretty good state to live in. She's right. Oh yeah, Roger. No, what did I get? I got a power inverter from you. I got those 2 small tarps. And I use those. I use those little. I probably use those little tarps more than anything. I had 3 sets of tarps. I had the 2 green tarps I got from you. I had 2 full 4 foot drops. I had 2 full 8 foot drops, and I use those 2 small ones probably more than anything. But yeah, no, I've done better doing drive-in work than I ever did with with flatbed. I did okay with flatbed, but it's just everything takes so long to secure it. When I was doing those baler loads and all that stuff. So yeah, no, I like doing my van work. I think the last time I did one of these live streams, I've always in the back of my mind because before I came to Air Liquide, that's what I was doing was reefer work, and I'd still like to buy a reefer, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe one of these days. It's just those reefer rates are so good. I'd really like to buy another reefer just to try it. Hey, what are you guys running over there now? You running internationals still? New Freightliner? You got do you have the fifth generation Freightliner, or do you have the one like I've got now? Yeah, yeah. I think if they're that fifth generation, you'll really like them. They've got a lot of cool features on them. If you spec them with it, they've got the digital dash and they've got the electric over hydraulic steering where it's got the basically the lane centering. It'll read the lines and it'll just take you straight down the road. All you got to do is basically just rest your hands on the steering wheel. It's pretty cool. That new one's pretty cool. It's got 5 radars on it. I don't recognize. Who is that? It says, "Hey Johnny, congratulations with joining your team Run Smart. Glad to see you posting bids again." Who, how do I know you? I don't recognize your handle on YouTube. Yeah, I know you're old school. You know, I really like the old. Here's my thinking about it. I really like the old stuff. Like if I set in the 359 Peterbilt, like what I started with, I loved just the setting in it, but I wouldn't want to try to make a living with it because it's just like everything stems back to fuel mileage. So I was just telling Kevin last night. I was like, I'm trying to get above 11 for my 30, 60, 90. Right now I'm above 11 for my 30. I pulled where did I pick that load up? Baytown. I picked up a load in Baytown, Texas. It's a load of liquid totes. It's not that heavy. It's like 23,000 pounds, and I got over 11 mile a gallon pulling those back. So I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to go back to the old school. Not when it comes to earning a living with the truck. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Um, but man, it takes a lot of fatigue out of the driver too. I was thinking about just how you can just hold on to the steering wheel and it reads the lines, and all you have to do is rest your hand on the steering wheel. Basically, you just got to have a little bit of contact to it, and it'll drive itself down the road all day long. I was like, that takes it. I was thinking when you got a hard crosswind and you can just rest your hands on the steering wheel. You know how it is. I mean, that takes a lot of fatigue out of the driver at the end of the day. Well, I'm glad to see you guys went back to Freightliner. You guys been running the internationals for a while, haven't you? Are you talking about like the E-Coast? Because when I bought my 2019, when I bought my 2019, I was like the first hill it came up to. When you were about 3/4 way up the hill, it just basically it put itself in a neutral and you coasted over the top. So it's a weird feeling until you get used to it. And then I like it now. Yeah. Gibbs trying to call me. You don't like that? Well, I don't know if it's able. You can shut it on my truck. I can shut it off, but I really like it, and you don't lose what you think you lose. You know, because I don't know what the company speed is, but I'll let mine roll past whatever 5 past the posted speed limit. So a lot of times if I'm going 55, 60 mile an hour and it hits that, yeah, it'll slow down a little bit, but then I might be going 70 by the time I get to the bottom of the hill. So you don't lose what you really, I mean, 65, it slows down to 55? Huh. Now see on my truck, it's, you can set it, like I always set it unlimited on the top side of it, and then I set 4 below on the bottom side of it. So if I've got whatever my cruise speed is set at, okay, yeah, I get that. They're doing that for fuel mileage, I'm sure. But um, most of the time, what you're doing is whatever your cruise, say if like you've just got it set at 65, it'll only let it go down to 61, and then it'll let's see. Watched all your videos. Closest I'm able to get on summertime is 9 flat, doing 65 loaded. Empty 70 on a 2024 Volvo D13 turbo compound 455 247. Pulling reefer average 75. Well, I think you're doing pretty good then. So what's your average mile per gallon year round? I know you said you can get 9 in the summer, but what are you getting? What's your year round average? And so I don't know a whole bunch about Volvo, but he's got a 247, so I'm guessing that's an overdrive 247. Now Kevin on here, he's got a 247. He's got an old Walmart truck, but Freightliner doesn't really like to. If it's a 247, it's a direct drive. Volvo's the other way. Yeah, we need to talk on the phone. That's what I'm so glad you're on here because I've wondered what you've been up to. So if you sent me a text, I just can't see it right now, but I'll check it out. Let me know what's a good time to talk or something. I'd like to talk to you on the phone again. But yeah, thanks for coming on here, Roger, and take it easy, man. Tell the guys at work I said hi. See, we got 8 people on here. Anybody else? Anybody else got anything to say? As for me, I'll be loading up and going up to Indianapolis in the morning, and then switching trailers and going back to Texas. Then I'll probably take the week off for Thanksgiving. I got some. thanks, Mom. I appreciate the Team Run Smart. Congratulations. Yeah, Ken, shout out to my wife. How you say that? Nadia? Back home cooking for the family out here on the road. That's good. Yeah, the Team Run Smart thing's been fun. It's great to see. Freightliner's been so good to me. That's what I mean. It was a dream of mine to be part of Team Run Smart. So hopefully this will be a partnership that lasts for several years. So 8.4 winner. What's that mean? What do I haul? I haul office furniture. I haul office furniture outbound and whatever I can get back home inbound. So I've got a load of big liquid totes in my trailer right now. They're like those big 330 gallon or whatever they are. So you got to have a tanker endorsement to haul them. That's a good thing to have. You don't have to have any kind of fingerprinting or anything like that. You can just go to the B&B and take your tanker endorsement test. And so, like what I've got in my trailer now, they paid a little more on it because you had to have a tanker endorsement. So, yeah, that's a good cheap thing you can do and make a little more money on backhauls. I haul milk tankers and finished product dairy produce. That's cool. So where do you haul out of? I love doing tanker work. That's what I'd really like. I really miss doing that for myself. That's what I started with. And that's probably my favorite kind of work. But it's hard to get into that being a one truck guy. Are you afraid of doing flatbed? No, that's what I started out doing. I started out with a step deck. And so I just always found what's here in my area, it's better to do dry van. And I probably made more and it all depends on where you live. If there's a big flatbed or step deck market in your area, you probably make more money doing that. But here in my area, you're better doing dry van because the main manufacturer here in our town is Office Furniture, so you need dry vans to do it. You haul out of Albuquerque to El Paso, El Paso to Albuquerque, dedicated. We haul milk tankers. Vinton, Texas, Corrales, New Mexico. Yeah, I've been through there, all those places. That's cool. I don't know why is the milk so big out there? You see like south of Phoenix going to San Diego. They've got that big dairy there. I don't know why the dairy's so big out there. But yeah, I was just out there, trying to think, maybe a month ago now. I went out to California and stopped and saw Kevin, and I like going out there a couple times a year. I don't really like taking those. How long was I a company driver? I was a company driver for 13 years. Yeah. I was a company driver from 2001 to 2014. So, yeah, in 2014, I got my own authority and bought a truck. Actually, I bought a truck probably a year and a half before that. And it just kind of stayed here, and I worked on it a little bit. It was just a really cheap truck, but yeah, I was a company driver for 13 years before I got my own authority. 8.4 mile a gallon winter time, but that's strictly going 65. Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, you said you were pretty heavy, so that's not bad. Hello from Greenville, South Carolina. Why are they shutting the dairies down? Just the need's not good enough for the. So should I lease or buy a truck after 1 year of experience? I have savings right now. I work for a flatbed company, OTR company driver. I don't know. Are you ready to buy a truck after 1 year of experience? I don't know that I would have been ready to buy a truck after 1 year of experience. Now, if you are ready, I would go ahead and buy one. And even if you have to borrow the money, I wouldn't be worried about that. As long as your payment's not crazy. I mean, I wouldn't buy a new truck. I wouldn't have $4,000 a month payment. I'd try to keep it around, $1,200-$1,500 a month. But if you think you've done all your homework and you're ready to go that route, yeah, I wouldn't lease one though. Are you saying you thought I would get better MPG after the tailwind? There wasn't a ton of wind yesterday. It was just slow cruising. He said, I'm not sure, to be honest, but what I've heard is they're buying cheese and milk from other locations, prices, I guess. But I know there's quite a few dairies shutting down. Oh, you. Okay, Kevin. I get what you're saying. You. I don't know. You've got a maybe you got something going on. You got some hot fuel going on too, though. No, why I say that is because me personally, I didn't know enough about the industry. There's no way I would have. And things are different now. I would say me personally, I wouldn't have had enough experience to buy a truck after 1 year of driving because I didn't know anything. Really didn't know anything about it. But now there wasn't there when I started driving, there wasn't even YouTube, so there's a lot more. You can educate yourself a lot cheaper than back then. So it was all I could basically get from people was I had to ask guys that had trucking companies and say, should I do this or that? And if they wouldn't tell you, you wouldn't know. But now you can kind of sift through the information on the internet. But if you think you're ready, then you'll know when you're ready. But I know for myself, after 1 year, I wasn't ready to own a truck. No way. No way I was. So it's everybody. I mean, maybe you've had a really good mentor and they've taught you how to do this or that. Yeah, maybe you'd be ready. But I know I wasn't after 1 year. Do you still plan to put that Transex tail on your trailer? I don't think they have it. They don't have a tail. They have things that are mounted to the side of it. Yeah, I'm still thinking about that. That's what I haven't really my spare trailer. I haven't really pulled it that much. I've just been pulling my main trailer that's got the tail on it. So the other trailer's been sitting at the plant, and so I am taking the spare trailer to Texas this next week, and I know my fuel mileage is going to suffer because it doesn't have any aero on it. So yeah, I know I'm dragging my feet on that. But yeah, I think Trantex is a good company. You can get the side skirts, you can get the tail, you can get, and then you get the Flow Below kit from Flow Below, and for a couple $1,000s. Would you do Hot Shot? No, I wouldn't do Hot Shot. Me personally. Darren Huddleston called. That's my neighbor. That's one of my best buddies. He said, "Hello, Hollywood." That's what he calls me, because I'm doing videos for Freightliner, so he calls me Hollywood now. Darren's a good guy. I'll tell you a quick story about Darren. This summer, I had probably, oh gosh, I'm trying to think here, 12 acres of hay down, and I thought I was going to square bale it all, and this field right out this window that I'm looking at here, there's 5-acre field right here that I had down, and it was pretty heavy. And I was out there, I raked it up, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to get this done. And I think maybe Darren called, maybe it was meant to be. Maybe Darren called me or I called him, I can't remember. But Darren really bailed me out of a jam. He came over here and brought his round bale over here. And what did it make, Darren? 28, 29 round bales? So that's the kind of friend you want. Whenever you're in a bind, he comes over here and bails you out. So I don't know what I would have done. Even that night, I had hay to bale here. I had hay at another place, and I think the last bale of hay went up in the barn loft at like 10 o'clock at night, and I had to be at Indianapolis like 6 o'clock in the morning. So Darren really bailed me out of a jam that night, or that day. Kevin said, run the company truck like it's yours and learn over the next few years. Track your numbers and talk to anyone willing to give you their experiences. Yeah, that's really good advice. But like I said, it all depends on maybe you've had a really, really good person that's taught you how to do this and that and this and that, and I didn't. So I know I wasn't ready at 1 year of experience. There's no way. And I had a really good company job that was hard to leave, so it was a big decision going my own. Can you do a trip comparison video on mile per gallon between your trailers? Yeah, I can do that, but it's not really, there's not a ton of difference between the two. When it's 72 degrees and there's no wind, it's not like life changing. But whenever the wind is bad, or when you've got a bad crosswind, when you've got a bad headwind, things like that, that's when that good aerodynamic trailer really shines. But I always say there's probably a mile a gallon difference between the two. Darren said, I do it anytime. You're always there for me. Yeah, man, you really saved me that day, because I mean that would have probably been another 500 or 600 square bales. Since I don't like associating with other truckers too much, most truckers are way too negative, and that's why I started my YouTube channel, is because that's what I hated about it. I mean, you can make a great living with driving a truck if you do it right, and there is way too much negativity out here. People that, they're just like, it's just gloom and doom about everything. So I'm glad you said that, because I'm kind of the same way. But I like to, circle myself with positive people, and I know you can make a good living out here, even with these times. And this is a good time where people say, should I buy a truck? Should I not? Yeah, if you get the experience, because equipment's so cheap right now, I think this is the best time to get into business. Buy cheap equipment, and then whenever we kind of pull out of this, this low area of freight right now, you'll be, as we say here in Indiana, you'll be in tall cotton whenever the freight turns around. So yeah, I think this is the best time to get into business if you're ready for it, because the equipment's so cheap right now. I wish I wasn't so sympathetic to the equipment, as I would not think so much. Yeah, I know. I hit a big bump, and I was like, it's not me I'm worried about. It's my truck that's taking all the punishment. Big D, what are you up to tonight? Oh, did you take it over to? Did you take it to Burger? Was it just an old cow? Really? Well, that's cool. 1,000 pound cow. That's pretty cool. I didn't know Lane was into horses. Well, they took good care of him. That's pretty cool. Did Chris come over today, or I know he doesn't usually go over there on Sundays. Yeah, who was asking about that? Kevin said you should tell him to join the tribe site. Um, I can't remember now. Whoever was asking about the whether I should buy a truck or not, or whether you should buy a truck or not. Yeah, go to the Let's Truck, and you can be on their tribe site. There's a lot of guys that have had a lot of experience on there. You can ask a ton of questions. It's kind of like Facebook, but it's for trucking. So you can join that tribe site, and there's a lot of good information on there. Oh, good. Have you got another horse? Well, you've got several horses, don't you? Well, then let's see. Agree with best time to get into business, but unfortunately, 1 year of experience is just not enough to understand the potential downside risk. I like Kevin's advice to run numbers on a company truck. Yeah, no, that's a great idea. If you're a company driver now, just try to figure out everything you're doing and see what the actual. If you have a breakdown, a lot of times they probably won't tell you what the actual cost is, but that'll give you a really good reference if you want to buy your own truck. Try to track the numbers just like it's your own truck, and then go from there. And it might not be a bad idea. You know, I went from a company driver to totally independent, but it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to buy a truck and lease it to somebody. That way, at least you're getting paid every week. You know, a lot of times where I haul a load, I won't get paid for it for. By the time I pick it up, I won't get paid for it for 45 days. So, I mean, that's a good thing about being leased to somebody. At least you get paid every week. Have you been in Martinsville and seen all the Walmart trucks for sale? No. The guy must have 30 trucks. Really, in Martinsville, where at? Kevin O'Sullivan on here, he's got an old Walmart truck. They're great trucks. I mean, they got APUs on them, and I mean, you know, Walmart doesn't put up with bad drivers. I'm sure they've been driven really good. And no, I haven't seen the old Walmart trucks though. Getting sleepy. Yeah, you know, even if when I had my step deck, that's what I did some loads through Mercer, and then they pay you really quick, even if you're an independent. That's one good thing about hauling for Mercer is you get paid really quick. Over by the sheriff's office. Hmm. I can't think where the sheriff's office is in Martinsville. Yeah, there's tons of good equipment to buy right now though. I mean, it's a buyer's market as far as equipment goes. I'm trying to get Darren to buy another truck, make another go of it. He needs a brand new Freightliner. Darren's a guy, if you've watched many of my YouTube videos, that he had the International and I had my 2000. We both had 2014s. I had my Freightliner. He had his International, and we did the comparison. And just by driving a little bit slower, he saved 25 cents a mile just on fuel coming back from California. We both met up in Barstow and came back to St. Louis, and he saved 25 cents a mile just in driving habits. So, yeah, Darren. Kevin said he needs a Tupperware torpedo with a DD and no red motor. He said totally independent is the way to go. On the 10 to 12% cut is huge. Might not be fit for everyone. Also, don't factor invoices. Watch your MPG closely. ABD. What's ABD? Johnny Videos, LOL. I don't know what that means. See, Darren's on here. Oh, okay. ABD. I never heard of that. Yeah, Darren. He was. Who'd you factor with, Darren? That's what I factored right when I got into business. So I factored for about 4 or 5 months. I think yeah, I know who I was with. I was with Triumph. And the reason I did factor is because everybody that was in business told me you need to factor. But I mean, you're giving away a lot of money, and once you get in, I always said when you start factoring, it's like the Hotel of California. You can what is it? You can check in anytime you like, but you can never leave. They'll like they will not let you leave that, and it'll then they'll fight between the person that you hauled the load for. They'll fight between the two, and the one will say I paid them, and then the factoring company will say no, we haven't been paid, and basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to starve you out until you use them again. So no, I would not factor. Factoring's not good at all. I mean, they've got quick pay through brokers and things like that. I don't quick pay through anybody. I just if you can make it 30 days, then there'll be a load coming in every week. So it's just how it goes. But no, I would not factor. That's just my opinion. I know a lot of people think you should. I can't honestly remember, but it was a horrible way to start out. I had to threaten to get to Kentucky Attorney General to get involved to get away from them. Yeah, they're terrible. I mean, factoring companies do not want you to leave because they're making money. They're making money just because they're paying you fast. And most of them are. When I got started, they were 5%, but I don't know what they are now. They're probably around 2 or 3% because there's so many brokerages that are offering quick pay now. %, yeah. Yeah, that adds up though. I just hate to give all that money away just getting paid fast. Well, we've been on here for over an hour. Anybody have anything else to say? If not, I think I'm gonna hop off here. Going once, twice, 3 times. There's another one. Another 2 big factor is getting good fuel cards on tire discounts. Darren said, "Be safe out there this week. I'll call you in a day or two." Leg breaker out. That's my leg breaker. If somebody doesn't pay me, I send Darren over there. Yeah, I'm with Nastic. That's one thing that I wish. Nastic's a really good place to get fuel from. A huge discount. That's one thing. I don't think I joined Nastic till 19. I think 19 is when I joined Nastic. So there's about 4 or 5 years that I lost a bunch of money not being with Nastic. Well, there's still 7 people on here. Anybody else got another question? Go ahead. I'll stay on here as long as we got stuff coming in. If not, we're gonna call it a night. Well, I don't think we have anything else, so I think I'm gonna call it a night, guys. Well, thanks to everybody that came on here tonight. Catch you on another day, another way. Absolutely. Thanks to everybody that came on here tonight. We're going to end this one. We've been over here for an hour and 15 minutes, so this is perfect timing. So we will see you on the next video. Talk to you later.